everybody, and welcome to Achievement Hunting 101. This is level 292. I am Big L. Along with me this week, we have KooshMoose.
Yellow.
Alongside wildwest 08.
What's going on, guys?
And we have a special guest this week. None other than my Valentine and yours, Skeptical Mario.
Hello, everyone.
Hello, Mario. Thank you for joining us.
Glad to be here.
Short notice. Usually it's when someone joins on short notice, we have to get rid of someone. But this week, gang's all here. This is wonderful.
Well, yeah, you messaged me to ask me for some boosting help, and then I kind of invited myself on.
I mean, we weren't supposed to say that. Oh, yeah, we got to hurry this up so you can help me with boosting.
Got to get that achievement for the day.
I
Wait,
need my
wait.
achievement, yes.
What game did he need help with boosting? That's what I want to know.
Well, I won't tell.
None. I'll never tell. And also, because I have to be pedantic, L, it's actually co-op and not boosting. So
That's fair.
that's me being pedantic.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever that
But
means.
if I'm carrying you, then that would be a boost of the vertical
You push
variety.
me forward. You push me, yes. Like a turbo boost.
Like a booster seat.
Okay.
Booster shot.
All right. Well, I hope to form an alliance with you after the show. So we have a question this week. Hot on the heels of last week's Tomb Raider talk. We have a question from Wild West. And you can go ahead and ask it, buddy. And I'll even let you go first.
Oh, perfect. I was interested to know, we have a Tomb Raider collection recently released, and Nintendo Direct gave us the Star Wars Battlefront collection coming as well. So what other collections would you like to see come out? Arutarek was our first response with a great answer and said, a collection containing 2 Lord of the Rings games, both the Two Towers and the Return of the King games from the early 2000s. Hack and slash style games playing through scenes from the films. They were some of my favorite games on the PS2, which I still sometimes go back and play if the mood strikes me. Carpe Adam 79 says, I think I mentioned this on a previous question, but a Madden collection pre-X1 would be neat. I started on Madden 93 in the Sega Genesis, but there was a version prior to that I never played. I feel like it'd be kind of cool to go back and experience the older Madden games again with all the classic rosters. And then the last one I'm going to read is from Vulgar Latin, and he says, so many things. Earthworm Jim, a classic Mortal Kombat collection, a Mortal Kombat collection for the 3D era games. I would love some Spider-Man games from back in the day. More Tony Hawk. Basically, if you can sell me my past, I'll buy it.
Amen.
So
I
those
think there are
are
enough Mortal Kombat games where you could have a collection of Mortal Kombat collections.
collection on top
That's a
of
good
the
idea.
collection.
I think that is true.
All right, well, I have a question.
Okay.
Is 2 games enough to be a collection? Or should it be 3 or more?
Well, 3's
I mean,
company.
I guess.
More is
I think-
better.
I think 2 is fine, but I think the more you have, the better.
mean, I guess Tony Hawk 1 and 2 would be a collection.
Yeah. And if they were ever to do
If
3
they're-
and 4 and then put them all together, that'd be
Mhm.
cool too. But
That'd be collection as well.
what do you get when you add a collection to a collection then?
Collections
Is that a
squared.
series?
Collection.
So I had totally forgot about the Lord of the Rings games until Arutarek said that. And I was telling the guys before, I played those a lot. My friends and I were big Lord of the Rings fans, and playing those games in the early 2000s was just a lot of fun.
Really?
Yes, really.
Good games. Lord of the Rings.
So that'd
Alright.
be a lot of
Don't-
fun.
Don't make a hobbit of it. Those are not that great. Ugh, that was terrible.
Yeah. Let's go past that. Carpe Adams' response was really good too. I think it'd be kind of fun to go back to that style of Madden games as well. I would definitely play those. Getting some
You
of
wouldn't-
those.
You wouldn't want every year, I don't think, because
No.
there wouldn't be enough of a difference. But you could, if you could curate remarkable differences.
Yes. Yeah, I agree. It'd
I
be fun
mean,
to kind of go back.
The only problem is licensing.
Yeah.
So hypothetically, it would be a great idea. They came out with Tecmo Bowl on the Nintendo Switch NSO storefront, but they took out all the real life teams and
Yeah.
players, so it's not the same.
But I mean, they bring
they could do what McDonald's is doing with the McDonald's and just turn the N upside down
Oh yeah, just do it that way.
in the NFL.
They did have the NHL Rewind '94 a couple years ago with the current roster, so that was awesome.
That was fun.
If they could do that, that's a good compromise.
And they do bring back those kind of characters, or I guess not characters, but players, from into the new games. Like you'll have some of the NBA games will have the older players from the back in the day as well. So I think they could figure out something to do, but it'd be fun to play those. And then Tony Hawk, that's a given for a lot of us that grew up playing that. Some of the other ones that I thought would be kind of fun to roll into a collection that I have enjoyed playing recently or a long time ago, the Metro series. I think it'd be a lot of fun to get a collection of all of those games into one. And then Time Splitters was another one. We did a lot of Time Splitters growing up as well. So having a remaster of all of those games, especially doing it online play, I think would work really well. And then for some management fans, the older Sim Cities and Sim Farm games, I played a lot of those growing up as well, and it'd be kind of fun to go back and see how those would translate to with some newer controls and everything. So those are some of the answers that I had.
What if they did a Remedy collection? Would you like that? Does that
In
really
the future,
count?
yeah.
Or they're too new? Yeah, I guess they're too new.
I think they're too new, but I think someday it'd be kind of
Alan
fun to
Wake
just have
1
a do
and
a
2.
Remedy connected universe.
Absolutely, yeah.
What else is there? Alan Wake 1 and 2 and Control. I know there's a fourth one.
Quantum Break,
all
I
the
don't know
Max
if it's in the
Paynes.
same universe.
Oh yeah, Quantum Break.
Yeah.
Max Payne, stop it.
Well, they are doing a Max Payne collection.
Don't Google it. They are?
Yeah, Remedy's doing it. Well, I guess they're remaking number 1. I don't know if they're doing 2 actually. I'll have to look that up while Mario goes on his answers.
Yeah, I'll read a couple.
Oh,
My
Mario,
cat
you
picked
can
just
read them.
this second to jump back up on the desk. Here from Ahizo.
Aw.
Ahizo says, with the success of Mass Effect's collection release, I'd like to see Dragon Age given the same treatment. The existing trio of games already import into each other either through game saves or simply asking questions at the start, so they could just connect them automatically like Mass Effect did. I think this would be a great lead up to Dreadwolf coming out this year or next. Shout out to the Tony Hawk 3 and 4 that was planned and later canceled. Hopefully the higher-ups at Microsoft are fans of the series now that they run it.
It's not happening, Izo.
Chewy on Ice says, I really, really want a Silent Hill collection of the first 4 games after the disappointing versions of 2 and 3 we got in the buggy HD collection. With the remake of 2 coming out, it feels like a good time to revisit the originals. The first 3 are some of my all-time favorite games, and I never got the chance to play 4, so I'm eager to do that. A more left-field pick would be a collection of some of the 90s horror FMV games that I've always loved watching YouTube videos of, but never experienced myself. I think games like Immortality, Her Story, Late Shift, The Bunker, The Shape-Shifting Detective, and other recent FMV games have revived interest in the genre, so it would be cool to go back to the originals, even if they are very hokey and dated now. We never got the Night Trap re-release on Xbox, so a collection which included that along with The Seventh Guest, Harvester, Phantasmagoria, and Dracula Unleashed would be super amazing. I actually played Phantasmagoria back in the 90s, I think.
Really?
I don't think I've played an FMV game since then. Have you guys?
Seventh Guest was amazing.
Other than those, other ones he listed, no,
mean-
I can't think of any.
I mean, Myst is another obvious one.
Mm-hmm.
That
We
did
have had that
a-
remastered, but was that
yeah.
that was just the first one? It wasn't all of the Myst games.
Yes, I mean they did make sequels.
Mm-hmm.
Riven was good. That was the first sequel. Yeah, there's lots of avenues they can go.
For myself, I tried to think of a good answer to this, but most of the games I picked have already been released in collections or they're, from Nintendo. So the only thing I can come up with is StarCraft. StarCraft 1 and 2 and like the
Yes.
expansions. I think there's enough there for a collection. And now that Microsoft owns Blizzard, maybe they could get the ball rolling on that. I think we've shown that real-time strategy games can work on a console.
Yeah. Do it Halo Wars style. You could do something like that.
About
Maybe-
Warcraft.
That too. I wasn't as much of a fan of Warcraft, so I wouldn't be as excited, but that would definitely work too.
Or were you saying something, Jameson?
No, I was saying StarCraft would be good. I think you could do some kind of specialized one just for the PC, but then kind of port it over with different controls, or maybe a little bit more light on the Xbox. But that'd be fun.
Mm-hmm. Console version wouldn't need to be played in esports, so I don't care if it's not quite as crunchy, and the controls can do 100 things per second.
Yeah, I mean, if you can do Age of Empires, then you can do pretty much anything, I think.
Okay, Big L, it's your turn. All right, Big L. Hurricane Dale says, I would love a remastered trilogy of the Fable games. Such a huge part of my childhood. Well, they tried making that first one again, and then they messed up the smart glass achievement. It's amazing how
For shame.
Grand Theft Auto 5 just changed their achievement list, right? So to not make that one unobtainable. So it'd be nice if the others followed suit, especially a Microsoft property. You would think they would do something about that, but nope. Just discontinued it. And 2 and 3, I still see people playing those games on the 360, the backwards compatibility. So that would probably sell super well if they did a nice remaster trilogy. So that's a good answer, Hurricane Dale. Who I believe still has like 2 years of never-ending stories in the can still. Foo Cuddly Poof. I remember that dude. He says, I would love for a remastered collection of the Digimon World games. I played 1 through 3 as a kid, and I'm currently trying to complete them on retro achievements. Elle will appreciate this, but I'm actually simul-playing with them with a couple of friends. Well, that's cool. I'd actually like to hear about that. I have zero interest in those games, but retro achievements has always fascinated me. And yeah, I always just took Digimon as a Pokemon ripoff. So if anyone knows anything about that, let me know. You guys know?
That's how I feel about Digimon also.
Yeah. And I know Nate is always played those games
Oh yeah,
on his Game Boy.
I'm a big fan of the Pokey Digi stuff.
Digimon, Yu-Gi-Oh.
Yeah, all the Mons. Love all the Mons.
Hey, Mon. Game Boy in living color. There you go. There's a deep cut. So from myself, I was trying to think of some crazy big collections like we've had recently. My favorites have been like the Contra collection, the Castlevania collection, the Mega Man collections, and recently the TMNT Cowabunga collection, where they took games from my childhood and games that you wouldn't expect to see. So they were on NES and SNES and the arcade, and they put it all in one big package. One thing we never got was the Mega Man Game Boy games, but I guess those weren't that good. I would like to see a collection of Mana come to Xbox. That's on the Switch. Maybe something a little more realistic. Maybe Bomberman. So there was NES Bomberman and Super Bomberman.
That's a good answer.
Obviously some RPGs. It's my typical answer.
Were there Bomberman RPGs?
Yeah, of course there are. You blow yourself up. You sleep in the inn, and you're fine. This is obvious. Obviously the Final Fantasies of the world, maybe like Lufia 1 and 2, you know, franchises like that haven't had a lot of love. Sega Trigger Chrono Cross collection. There you go. Now that we've established that 2 can be a collection, we can go nuts.
How about a collection of just sequels? Of just 2s?
KooshMoose, what do you got for us, buddy?
All right. I've got Philip Wendell, and he says, I looked through my 360 games for some ideas. The only thing I thought would be good that doesn't already have a remake was Peggle. It would be fun to play through those again.
Oh.
I agree. I don't know if I need a collection of those, but I definitely need a new Peggle. I think the time is right. EL Sock is in the game, and he says, I would like to see a remaster / remake of the Legacy of Kain games. Always a good answer. Always right. With updated graphics and all that, and hopefully fixed load times. Blood Omen on the original PlayStation still causes me night tremors. Yeah, I remember Legacy of Kain. I remember liking Legacy of Kain. I don't know if I actually remember Legacy of Kain, but I remember that I liked it. And
That's
always wanted more. Yeah, exactly. Right. That's nostalgia. For me, yeah, I had a hard time picking stuff that wasn't Ratchet and Clank on the wrong system. And then I picked, I probably said Ratchet and Clank last time we had a similar question. This time, actually, Vulgar snaked my answer. I didn't even see it. I was thinking the Spider-Man games. We have, let's see, Friend or Foe in 2007. We have Web of Shadows in 2008, 2 different developers. Then in 2010, we have Shattered Dimensions from Beanox. And in 2011, we have Edge of Time, also from Beanox. I think it'd be kind of cool to have all those, maybe with the Insomniac engine, and just be really good games. I'd buy that again, even if it wasn't. I know it's impossible. It's 3 different developers across 4 different games, but whatever. I think that'd be kind of cool. Or another thing, kind of like Mario was joking with the 2s. I could get into like a DreamWorks collection. You know how I love the tie-ins, but if they took like a whole bunch of DreamWorks movies and put them all into one collection, I'd totally play that for sure.
That's actually not a bad idea.
Yeah.
Or Disney, obviously they already did it with like Aladdin and Lion King.
Yeah.
But yes, give me something like that. I would totally play that.
Well, doesn't Activision have a lot of those games too? So, or
Could
no?
be. I don't pay attention to that.
Okay. Yeah. But no, Activision did a lot of those movie tie-in stuff.
They got all the licenses. Yeah.
But I'm sure they'd have to renew stuff with that. But that would be a lot of fun.
Yeah, I'd have a great time with that.
Well, just as an update, as a tie to kind of finish this all, Remedy is doing Max Payne and Max Payne 2. So it is both of them. They're going to do sometime.
Okay. Is that the one with Mark Wahlberg? See in that one?
I think so, yes.
Or is that just a movie?
That's just the movie. Did you not play
Oh.
Max Payne?
No, I only played a little bit of 3 on the 360, and that's it. Yeah,
Oh, okay.
You're missing
it
out.
was like the Matrix style shooty slowdown.
Yeah,
right?
it was like the first game I remember that used bullet time
Yep.
as a game.
Yeah, bullet time shooties. Yeah, I'll check it out if it comes to Xbox.
Oh, it is. It's coming out on PlayStation, Xbox, and PC. So
I'll take 2.
Speaking of Max Payne movie, do you guys want to guess what percentage on Rotten Tomatoes it has?
are you doing critics or audience?
Critics.
Critics. I'm gonna go 38%.
Ooh.
That's close enough to my guess.
Ooh. Sure, yeah, it's got to be
Fresh
low.
or
I was thinking
rotten?
60, but that's probably too high.
Fresh or rotten?
Anything
Definitely
below
rotten.
60 is rotten, I believe. That's their criteria.
Okay, you're all way off.
So like
The
11.
answer is 16%.
Yeah.
Wow.
Dang. Yeah. I remember being super excited when that was coming out just because I loved Max Payne. I think I took my wife to go see it, and we was just like, okay.
Oh, is she still your wife?
Yeah, were you were married at the time, or
I don't know. Let's see. Let me
This could
see
have
when
been
the
a deal
movie is.
breaker.
Yeah. Let me see when that movie came out. What year is that at?
2008.
2000. Okay, yeah. That was the year I got married. then.
Wow.
Could do a Criterion collection of video game adaptations.
Oh yeah.
Between
All the
this,
Yui holes.
yeah, the
Resident
Assassin's
Evil,
Creed
Resident
movie.
Evil, Resident Evil,
Far
Resident
Creed.
Evil, Resident
Far
Evil.
Cry.
Far Creed. That would be a great movie.
Still need to see
That'd
that
be amazing.
Fassbender Assassin's Creed.
You know, that was good. It wasn't like great, but it was decent. I liked it.
I'd rather watch that than play another Assassin's Creed game.
What do you think about the
Have I ever
Borderlands
told
trailer?
you guys?
Oh, I'm not excited for Borderlands, but the trailer looks like they might be getting it right.
Yeah.
It has to
Yeah.
just be super wacky. That's the only way it works.
What I liked was the guns. Like it looked like the guns were unique. Like as what's her face, the Siren was shooting one. It was just cool the way the barrel was rotating. I was like, oh, I think they paid attention to all the wacky guns.
Mhm.
Yeah, I'm interested to see if they do kind of a loot thing involved in the movie at all or not.
Like they just keep upgrading their guns and stuff. That'd be pretty
Yeah.
cool. But now, El, you love Borderlands. So what do you think?
Well, as much as I rag on Borderlands the game, I did like the world and the characters. So I actually was going to go see this blind. So I didn't want to watch any trailers. But if you think I should, I will.
I mean, if you think you should go blind, go blind. Yeah. I support going in to see movies blind.
Well, I'm not sure how blind you can be if you have an expectation set by having played the games.
I go in with complete negative expectations. So can
Mhm.
only be pleasantly surprised.
That's the way to do it.
But the promotion looks good and all that. Like it does look colorful and has an all-star cast, right? So
Mhm.
I think that to me was the only thing I've seen that was a negative so far. I've only watched that one trailer, and I'm not going to watch any other ones until it comes out. But I don't think Kevin Hart
oh wow.
is very good in that. But we'll see.
I'm just reading that it was completed back in 2021 and they had to do reshoots for 3 years. Wow.
Hmm.
That's nuts. So I remember hearing about this and then it kind of disappeared. Well, as long as we don't get a Borderlands collection, right? Don't tell me about Handsome Jack, please.
Well, I'm sure we will at some point when the publisher gets desperate.
Make some gear bucks. All right. Thank you for the question, Wild West. keep bringing out those collections, and we'll probably keep buying them. Okay. So a couple weeks ago for Valentine's Day, we asked you guys to come up with some poems, help us write some poems, and you did. And we had a poll on the Discord. And we initially were going to have one winner, but I think we're going to have two. The first one is, of course, our beloved Skeptical Mario. Congratulations.
Thank
You are
you.
number one in our hearts. And we couldn't leave out Arutarek because he had a really good one too. I know Wild West really liked his. So I believe that's still up in the Discord, or go back a couple weeks and listen if you want to hear them again. I don't know how Mario got his voice to be so British, but he did. It was great. So, congratulations to you guys. All right. February is a short month, so we are coming up to March, and we have new targets just announced on True Achievements. So for March targets, of course, we have Pi Day, earn 2 achievements with a ratio of 3.14 for bronze, 3 for silver, and 6 for gold. That's easy enough. Just play some Killer Instinct or something like that. Some Game Pass game, you'll find the 3.14 pretty easily. Trilogy, earn achievements in games or achievements that contain the word 3, the number 3, or the Roman numeral 3. I think even Nate could figure that one out. It's got 3 eyes, Nate.
3 eyes. Got it.
And you got it. Bronze, you need 3. Silver, you need 6. And gold, you need 10. So once again, I ask Nate to buy me Tomb Raider Trilogy. I heard that game has at least 10 achievements. I think it was 269. Yeah, something like that. And last but not least, march around the map. Very clever. Earn gamer score in adventure games. Bronze 100, silver 200, and gold 300 gamer score. And someone's trying to get me to read something, so why not? Don't forget to visit Calendar Man on Leap Day to unlock Martian Manhunter costume. Oh, but it's not a thing, it says. Oh well. I remember Calendar Man. Have yet to play Batman Arkham City proper, though. But I finished Calendar Man on both consoles many years ago. Very good, Big L. Very good.
That's the important thing.
Exactly. All right. Those are our news items. And now it's time for the game showcase. We will start with the illustrious KooshMoose.
Thanks for asking. Today, I'm going to be talking about a little game that's not on Game Pass.
Oh, I'm
Surprise,
so
surprise.
ready.
Apparently, I am in a bit of a puzzle / cozy funk. I don't know. That's what I'm playing. A game called Harmony's Odyssey. In this game, you play as a witch, but really that doesn't matter because the game is all about these animated puzzles and maps. And they're little grids. They're as small as like 3x2, and they get much larger as the game progresses. And they're just these little dioramas that are animated, and they're mixed up. So each one of these squares that make up this diorama are just kind of jumbled. And I believe that they're jumbled the same way every time. So like if you watch a video, you can see where pieces get moved and all that stuff if you wanted to ruin your fun, you can absolutely do that. And I think there are also solution videos that basically just show you the finished level, so you can just spot a piece, move it to the right location, and then just finish that way if you're having trouble. But the game is really cute and fun. And as you're playing through, there are 3 difficulty levels, and there's an achievement for completing every level on the hardest difficulty. The difference between easy and hard is the number of pieces that you need to move. On easy, they will complete part of the puzzle for you for the really big levels. There'll be sections of it that's completely done. Whereas on hard, you have to do every single square. You have to figure out where they go. As you're moving these things around, you'll basically just like select the square with A, and you can either hold that and then drag it to the place where you want it and let go, and that'll swap the 2, or you can click on one and then click on the other. As you find blocks that match, they become seamless. So if they don't quite match, they're not in the right position relative to each other, there will be a seam if they're not in the correct position relative to each other. But if you match the piece that goes directly to the left of another piece, it will become seamless. And that's how you know for sure you've connected 2 pieces that are supposed to be connected. When that's done, you can then move those connected pieces, those correctly connected pieces, by just holding A down when you click on one of those squares. Then you can move that whole unit around the level as one piece, and it'll kind of adjust the pieces as you go, which is really helpful. And I didn't figure that out at first. Everything in this game is done through like cutscenes and like little animations. So there's nowhere where you're reading, oh, you do this, do that. Like you're basically just seeing something happen, and then you have to go kind of reproduce it. I'm like, oh, okay, so that's what I'll do. As you're completing these little levels, a little story is being told. And as you unlock each new area, you'll also get new little mini games. And those mini games will basically, there'll be another level you have to do, but it just changes from that mechanic of shifting the puzzle pieces around to actually doing some sort of activity or mini game. One of them is like a find the difference, kind of like a highlights magazine. And the way it does this is really nice because it splits the screen and it gives you a magnifying glass as a cursor, but it's in both of the screens, the split screens. So as you're moving that cursor around, it'll keep the position on both pictures, which is really helpful when they have multiple things like, I don't know, little, bands of flowers or something on the ceiling. And it helps you when there's like 10 of them and you're trying to figure out which one is wrong. The magnifying glass will move over both sides of the screen at the same time, so you can very easily see, oh, this one's upside down or something like that. So that'll help you do with that type of puzzle. There's also a Pac-Man Light type of mini game that you have to do where you're a cat trying to get the sausage. And I think that there might be another version of that with the mummy. I'm not sure. I haven't gotten all the way through the game yet. And then finally, from what I've seen, the last little mini game is kind of like a Sokuban like push puzzle where you're playing football. And the twist here that makes it not a true Sokuban is that you need to, number one, collect a football and then also defeat defenders to get to the end zone. And it's in kind of like a little Sokuban type puzzle with, some walls are here, some walls are there. You always move in a straight line. And the way you defeat a defender is by picking up an offensive person on your team. So you kind of move around this maze. If you bump into somebody on your team, you can now take out a group of the enemy that has fewer people. So when you're trying to move around the puzzle, you can't bump into that one person. You have to pick up someone on your team first to then have a 2-to-1 overmatch for that guy, and then you can take that guy out. So that's kind of dictates how you're going to move around the map and get to the end. It's very easy to restart those if you kind of make a bad move or something like that. But those are the 3 mini games that I've seen so far, and I believe it says that there are other mini games, but I think they're variations of those. I could be wrong. Like I said, I haven't seen the end of the game, but I did kind of like scoot through a solution video just to see if there were any other obvious mini games that stood out. And I didn't see any that weren't those three. As far as the achievements, they come pretty quickly and all the time as you're just moving through the game.
There you go.
When you get to a new biome or set of levels, there's an achievement. There's achievements for things that happen, like in the little animations. Every time you finish a puzzle, there's like a little animation of that puzzle, so you can kind of see it. You know what's going on in that scene. It's kind of cool. And at any time you can rotate these to get a better view of all the stuff that's going on. It's kind of fun to do that at the end of the more intricate ones, especially the bigger ones. They've got more cool stuff going on. You can kind of see, oh, this guy's up in a balloon and he's flying around, and this guy's down here and he's stealing sausages or something like that. So that's kind of cool to check out. Let's see, the other achievements are for silly things like going to the music screen. They do have one of those. There is an achievement, like I said, for completing all levels on the hardest difficulty. That is the highest ratio. It's a 1.8. It's really not difficult. There's no time limit on the levels. And in fact, there's an achievement for taking 29 minutes to solve a puzzle. So anything over 29 minutes will earn you that achievement. You can just basically, do even one of the easy ones and just save that last move, wait till the timer goes up, go ahead and flip it and get your achievement. And of course, there's completing all puzzles. I let my daughter play this. I kicked it down to easy for her, and she was having a lot of fun. She didn't like the football mini game because I didn't have time to explain it to her, and she was having a hard time figuring it out. But yeah, it's a really fun game. I'm enjoying just doing a little bit at a time, as I normally do with these types of puzzle games. But it's cute and it's pretty fun. And that is Harmony's Odyssey.
It does look very cute. I'll say that much.
It has a co-op mode. I think it has a co-op and a versus mode. I don't know how those would work, and I never checked them out. That is an option for people that have multiple people in their household that could play games, but I didn't check those out.
Puzzles are dioramic. That's how they it's like dioramas, like a science fair project. Did you talk about the price? I don't think you did.
No, I didn't mention the price. It's $15. It's a little much for I think how much gameplay there is when it's all said and done. I'm already 50% of the way through the game, and I have, I don't know, since I've played for 5 hours. That doesn't feel accurate. I think a lot of it was just sitting around, or my daughter just doing whatever. But it feels a little much. So if this goes on sale, I would definitely wait for a little bit of a sale at least.
It says,
yeah.
It looks like it's been almost voted on for an 8 to 10 hour completion. Would you say it's about accurate?
Yeah, I'm at 5. Like I said, I'm at 5 hours, and I'm at 50%. The puzzles do get more difficult as you go along, and they like I said, they make it more difficult by increasing the size of the board, and I guess the puzzles have more similar pieces the farther you get into it. So there's more options for like, oh, well, this is clearly like a vertical type piece or potentially even an edge piece. And you're just not quite sure where it goes. So it takes you a little bit longer to get stuff moved around and figure that out. So that's how they increase the difficulty.
Yeah, I was saying last month it went to 1124, but probably I imagine like 750 half price would be fair for this guy.
I think half price it would be like absolutely. If you're in a puzzle games, half price for this, yeah, no doubt.
Okay. That was Harmony's Odyssey. And I think there's some game called Odyssey to the West, right? I don't know. Odyssey to the Wild West. You are up.
All right. Well, Carpe Adam had a good suggestion for the showcase that I should do now. And he says that I should as I mentioned in the last time that I was on, that I was working on Chewy's Just Punch It list for the patrons, and I worked back to another 360 game, and so Carpe Adam made the suggestion that I should call my section "I have a bone to pick with Chew." So that's what I'm going to be doing this week. Is I have a bone to pick with Chew about Fable 3. As you were talking before, that you saw people still playing it. That was me. I was still playing it because I did a long time ago. I did the base game, the 1000 G completion on it, and after I was done with it, they released the DLC for it called Trader's Keep. And in the DLC, they added a new area along with a new demon door. In the base game, these demon doors were doors that you could open by doing a specific task, like becoming really fat or becoming really evil or really good, by dressing weird in the game. Just they had different requirements to get you to open it. When you opened it, you could get money, you could get weapons, items, stuff that would be useful for the game. And in the DLC, they asked you to open up all the demon doors. So if you've done that through the game, you should have just been able to go to the DLC and map the new area, and then you should have been able to go to the new demon door, open it up, and the achievement would pop. Well, apparently it was glitched for a long time, and people were trying to figure out how to unlock it. And there was a lot of different suggestions to do it, but the one that has the most popular support behind it is that you need to open up the demon door in the DLC first, and then the other ones after it. And so when the DLC came out, I was just like, no, I'm not doing it. I don't really care to do it at all. I just wasn't really planning on doing it. They did eventually release the DLC for free, I think, when they did, because Fable 3, I think, was part of the first games with gold. And I think they released the DLC for free around that time as well. And so I ended up picking it up just to have it just in case. And then when Chewy's came out with his contest games for me, that was on my list, and I decided to go for them. And for one of the demon doors, you have to do some interactions with another player. So I messaged my co-op buddy and I said, hey, I know we did Fable 3 a long time ago. Would you be interested in running through it again? And he said, yeah, that he'd be up for it. And so just like we had mentioned on Dragon Age, I spent all night one night trying to get my save to copy over from the 360 to the one, and it failed. And so I had to start over from the beginning of the game and play it all the way through to be through the end to be able to unlock the DLC and start the DLC stuff. The DLC does not start until you finish the game because you have to get to a specific. You just have to get to the end game to be able to access it. So for those that haven't played Fable 3 yet, you play as the king's brother, and you just kind of you're just kind of basically are just going through life. Your brother's the king. Your parents have passed away. Your father was a hero in all sense of the words. There's really a lot of snarky comments in the game. There's a lot of innuendos, all the fun stuff that makes a Fable game a Fable game. And so they don't really try to play it some big thing. It's just your dad's a hero. And so, but he passed away. So your brother's ruling Albion, and you find out later that your brother's evil. And so one of the guys that has protected your family for a long time helps get you out of the kingdom before anything can happen to you, and you start your quest to become a hero. And the first thing that you get is you get access to magic. And so you leave the castle and you start your quest to overthrow your brother. And then the DLC starts right after the end game. And you go to a new island part of the map, and you have to go to a prison and help bring back some of the famed prisoners that have escaped and defeat them and bring them back. So the DLC was pretty fun. I enjoyed it going back. It had been a long time since I had played it, and so I had a lot of fun replaying the story again. And for those who like descriptions in their achievements, Fable's got them all. For example, one of the first ones that you can get is called Hand in Hand. You've held hands with another person. What better way to make a connection? Which I kind of think, I don't know. Do you guys enjoy?
Aww.
Do you guys enjoy having descriptions like that for your achievements, or do you like straightforward, tell me what to do?
I don't mind a little extra flavor on the descriptions as long as it actually does say it and isn't just a cryptic hint.
Yeah. What about you, Koosh?
Agreed.
I mean, yeah, I like a little bit of flavor and variety, but yeah, I also don't want it to be so cryptic. Gosh, what is the one game?
I think I know what you're talking about, or at least something.
There's
yeah.
there's one game, I can't remember exactly what it is. I'll have to go back and find it and yell it out in the middle of the podcast. But like I normally do. But there's one game where the descriptions just make no sense. They have nothing to do with the activity you need to do. And that's the complete other end of the spectrum. Yeah, I do like a little bit where, okay, so if they give you the flavor text, but it's something you have to do to complete the game anyway, you're going to run through it anyway, like you just can't avoid it. Okay, that's kind of cool. But if it's something, esoteric or super obtuse or whatever, then yeah, that's not cool.
Yeah. I think I was just kind of looking through as I was getting ready for this podcast and just seeing kind of the stuff, and I didn't really notice it until now about the achievements and all that, and how they kind of have a little description to go along with it. So it's pretty standard for a game. You have your story achievements, you have your kill enemies achievements, you have there are some achievements for doing stuff with another player online. You can do co-op. You can do co-op stuff. So I had my co-op ended up being a girl in their game, and then I was a guy. So we got married for an achievement, a long time ago. This was 2012, I believe. And then, had a kid, for another achievement. So you can do stuff together. You can play together.
You just held hands.
I know. You held hands. You're fast tracking Fable.
Wow.
You don't waste time.
Jeez.
Procreate too. So, but then you also got your killing enemies, and so there's three types of weapons that you can use, or combat that you can use in Fable. You can use your magic. So you'll have different things like fire, electricity, ice. You can later in the game you can mix two spells together for an achievement, and then also it'll be more powerful. It's unlimited magic. You don't run out from it. You don't have kind of mana or anything. You can use it as much as you want. You have your guns, so you can have your rifles or pistols or stuff like that. You can have your swords and other melee combat. So those are the three styles you use as well. And then in game, you kind of have to get a certain amount of money, which I believe is like 6 or 9 million gold, which you can buy businesses to earn money passively as you're playing the game. You can do other actions to earn money to save your people at the end of the game. And then after all that's over, you get to start the DLC and go from there. There is a caveat that makes one achievement really hard. So for those who have played it, you'll know the one I'm talking about. It's for collecting all the legendary weapons. So in your game, you only get, let me see. So you only get, there's 50 legendary weapons in the game, and you only get 26 in your game. So to be able to get all the achievements, you have to join another person's game and be able to be gifted those other weapons that you don't have in your game. And so I know my friend and I, we had to join a session with a guy who had all the weapons, and he gave it to us. We got the achievement, and then we gave those weapons that he had given us back. And so that is kind of a thing that I don't really know how I feel about it. I don't particularly like it, I guess, but having to do something like that for an achievement, I don't know. I didn't really like it, but overall, I thought the achievement list was very good. Even for the DLC, I thought it was very good as well, except for that one achievement with the demon door that still has some issues unlocking to this day. But the game was fun overall. It was fun to go back and play it again. I agree with what you said, Elle, about making a collection on it. I think it'd be a lot of fun to do it as long as they kind of, yeah. Oh yeah, I like what I said. I think it'd be fun to do a collection on that if they took out some of the co-op stuff that maybe wouldn't work today, like the Spyglass. The Fable 2, I believe, had some costumes that were weird, had a weird unlock on it. I think the chicken costume there. So as long as they kind of tempered some of those achievements on it, I think it'd be a good collection to work with, and it's a fun game to go back to and finish up. And there is a walkthrough on TA if you need it. So
it was actually Hurricane Dale who came up with that. I just read what he said. So
yeah, that's true. That's true.
I have some questions. I just went to the add-ons section of Fable 3, and I see like 20 different things that are like $1 each. Are any of these things necessary?
Nope.
What DLC is actually...
The only DLC that you need is the Traders Keep DLC. Yep, Traders Keep DLC. Traders Keep. The rest of the stuff is just like clothes and other things like that. Stuff that you don't need at all.
Okay. Good to know. Good to know.
I also completed the base game several years ago and still have no interest in playing the DLC.
Yeah, I haven't played it since I think 2012 is what I was looking at, and so it's been, over a decade. So I was like, it'd be fun to kind of go back to it and do it for choose contests and finish it up.
Yeah, I think I never played 3. I did play 2. And there was a lot of achievements where if you invite people in, and then if one person does it, everyone gets the achievement.
Yes.
Is 3 like that too? Okay.
No, the 2 is like that. Yeah, you can auto pop some stuff in 2, or if someone's doing something, you can get that achievement. 3, they don't have those achievements. There are stuff you can do. You have to do co-op, but you still have to earn the achievement in your own game or playing it co-op. You can't just get it by itself.
Okay.
And it's not
all on
it's on Game Pass. Yep. And it's not a long completion. It's 25 to 30 hours for the base game, and then 4 to 5 for the DLC. So not terribly long.
Okay. And last but certainly not least in the game showcase is our special guest, Skeptical Mario. What have you, sir?
Yeah, I'm going to be talking about a game called Space Gladiators. I know that there's been talk about Brotato in the last few weeks. It released on Game Pass to much fanfare for being a worse-looking Vampire Survivors. But I played it and I had a lot of fun with it. So I decided to break out this game, which is from the same developer. It's also from Blobfish. And I had bought it a few months ago because it is a combination platformer and roguelite. And that is a genre combination that is near and dear to my heart. So I figured I was going to be playing it eventually, and now seemed like a good time to do it. So I've been playing that for the last 24 hours. It is... how to describe it? It's like... are you familiar with Alien Hominid?
Yes, I finished that.
Well, I mean, suffice to say that the art style from Brotato. It's like it's poorly drawn, not poorly drawn, but very simplistic, cartoony sprites, and you are running through a series of randomized rooms, hacking up a bunch of enemies. And you unlock items as you go to get perks and power-ups to get stronger, and then you eventually defeat the bosses and escape from the dungeon. It's a classic roguelite setup, and it's not terribly long. There is a speed run for beating the game in 25 minutes, and I think it'll take up to maybe twice that if you're being careful and planning out what you want to do and trying not to get hit. I haven't done any of the speed runs yet, but
Yeah, this
so
game looks like you.
yeah, it's only got 275 starters on TA and 3 completions.
Reminds
So
me of that. What was that horrible game that you loved?
yeah,
The one
which
with the
one?
sequel that they screwed you on.
Goner?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, Goner was more trippy than this, but they're the same kind of game where you're going through levels, killing enemies, and getting random perks. And I do like games like that. And actually, this game is pretty well designed, in my opinion. There are many, many items that give a variety of perks to different stat bonuses. You've got your strength, which is by default what uh, scales the amount of damage you do with each hit. You've got technology, which is another stat, or special weapons that can increase alongside. You got max HP, and then you got armor that stacks on top of your max HP that can't be healed. And various items scale attacks based on these other stats as well, like some sub weapons deal more damage based on your maximum HP. You've got your basic attack. You've got an offensive weapon, which maps to the B button, and you got a defensive weapon that maps to the Y button. And that uses another resource called energy, which refills when you hit enemies. You got various rooms where you can, buy items from shops or get them from free, or maybe like pay health to get extra items. And there's several different enemies. Like you might think that based on the art style that the developer was like phoning it in, but I found it to be pretty robust in terms of number of items and enemies. I think there's like 10 to 12 different enemy types in each of the 3 main regions of the game.
Very
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah, it's pretty good. The achievement list is difficult, to say the least. You got about 15 gimmies that are just for killing enemies, destroying things, and like reaching certain stages on your way out. And then there's a set of achievements for completing it in increasingly more difficult difficulty levels. There's achievements for beating some bosses without getting hit. There's an achievement for beating the game without using any of these sub weapons. There's one for beating the game without picking up any items after the starting room. And then there's one that is my the metaphor is escaping me, but it's a terrible achievement. Just terrible. I forgot to mention there are multiple characters that each have different layouts and starting stats and modifiers and things. One of these characters is a little robot who has a tiny laser. All the other characters have like swords and things that where you sweep out in the head is a huge hit area, but this little guy's laser is just a line right in front of you, and it doesn't even go straight in front of you; it goes down at an angle. So you're not going to hit somebody that's right in front of you. You have to jump and do it first. And there's an achievement for beating any boss using this character, but also with an item that basically makes you deal very, very little damage. And it's very frustrating. It's called Inefficient Laser.
So that guy's meant to be a potato also?
All the guys in this game are potatoes. Although one of them is literally a potato. If you liked Brotato, you may like this game. If you like Alien Hominid HD, you might like this game. I wouldn't recommend it at its retail price of $15, just because that's a little bit expensive for a game where you're going to be throwing yourself at the wall this much. If it were on sale for half off or $7.50 or less, then I'd recommend it.
Okay. Looks like it's been as low as $9.74.
Mm-hmm. I'll keep playing it though. I think I can complete it.
Yeah.
It's just might
All
might
right.
take more than a few days.
You can do it. You'd be number 4 on TA.
Hmm.
Oh,
No pressure.
nice.
No pressure.
Yeah. Well, I want to
275 starters. Only 3
complete all the
completions.
games that are platformers and roguelites. So I've got to do this one.
You can do it. We have faith in you. Do they at least have like a parody of the American Gladiator song or something like that?
No. No,
Oh,
the music is
darn it. I would
pretty
have
threadbare.
give $15 to someone to buy it if they did. Oh well. Too bad.
Yeah. Again, the name of the game is Space Gladiators.
Yeah. Awesome. Okay. That brings us to sales. Looks like there's a lot this week. There's the TA article that they put every week for quick completions has 103 quick completions listed.
That's a lot.
So there's some Achievement Hunting 101 favorites on here, like Donut County, Mr. Pumpkin's Adventure, stuff like that. But the rest of the boys have a lot to talk about here, so I'm going to throw it to KooshMoose. What tabs you got open?
All right. A lot. As I was doing my research,
Yeah.
I was like, I can't really have 135 tabs open, do I? And I absolutely did.
I wouldn't put it past you.
Well, just, I look at a game on sale and I'm like, I don't know what that game is. I'm going to look at it. Not because, I'm going to buy it. I'm just going to look at it. I just want to know what that game is. So there were like 135 I had to click on. So yeah, there might be something for you there if you go and look. Here's one that's kind of recommended by Mental Knight. It's the Fusion Bundle. It's got Sherlock Holmes Chapter 1. It's got Sherlock Holmes The Awakened. And it has the Sinking City for X and S. It does not have Sherlock Holmes in that game. That's not a Sherlock Holmes game. But it's the same developer, and they've put them all in the same bundle. This is $22 down from $110. And the reason Mental suggested it or mentioned it is that this is the lowest price for Awakened ever. It's never gone below $20, and now this entire bundle is $22. So that's a pretty good deal if you're trying to get the Sherlock Holmes games. All the Sherlock Holmes games are adventure, point and click. Sinking City is action adventure. And all 3 games have 3.7 or more stars on TA.
So they're good.
Rating. Yes, they're all rated very well. So that's pretty good. Now, if you pair this with the Sherlock Holmes Essential Bundle, also on sale, I believe $14, $15, you can pick up the Sherlock Holmes Crimes and Punishments and the Sherlock Holmes Devil's Daughter Redux. And that is I think it's not as good as each of those individually on sale when they're on sale for their lowest price, but it would allow you to get all 3 of those Sherlock Holmes games. 4 of those Sherlock Holmes games for a pretty good discount. That would also include Chapter 1, which you already picked up, but whatever. That's one thing you could do, or you could be patient. Next up, Deflector, $5 down from $23. This is a roguelite shoot 'em up hack and slash. Looks pretty cool to me. It's $5 down from $23. I will be picking this up and maybe talking about it if it's worth it. Next up, Astronite, $5 down from $15. This is a platformer, but it looks a lot like a Metroidvania, and I just don't think enough people have played it or tagged it. I'll be picking this one up and commenting on that at some point. It's a black and white color scheme, and it reminds me a lot of Gato Roboto, but it doesn't have doesn't feel as claustrophobic or as like small as that. Gato Roboto almost plays or looks like it was written for the Game Boy or something, and then was just blown up to TV size. This feels a little bit more like it was built for bigger screens. Pretty cool looking game. I hopefully will be happy to talk about that later.
Hmm. All right. Wild West.
All right, I have got two bundles that I am recommending this week. The first one is South Park: The Stick of Truth and The Fractured Butthole, $13.99 down from $69.99. You don't get any of the DLC, but there's no achievements for them. It's the lowest price ever. I had a lot of fun with The Stick of Truth. I haven't done The Fractured Butthole yet, but I will look. I'm going to look at doing that here soon. The other one is Far Cry 5 Gold Edition and also Far Cry New Dawn Deluxe Edition bundle. It's $19.49 down from $129.99. So you get all the Far Cry 5 DLC and you get Far Cry New Dawn, which is basically an expansion of Far Cry 5. So pretty good price for two games there.
That's pretty good. All right, Skeptical Mario. I don't know if there's any
yeah.
games you did not choose to include, but you can get going.
Oh man, we got lots of Vayners on sale this week.
Yeah.
Yeah. Got Aeterna Noctis is 65% off, so it's $10.49. Mystic Bell and Chasm are also 65% off. Astalon Tears of the Earth is half off for $10, and that is March's Vayner of the Month, in case you want to pick that up. If you don't want to spend $10 on it, you get Always Awakening is $2, and that's also like an 8-bit style retro NES type
$2.
Metroidvania. But of all of those, my number one recommendation for this week is 8 Doors, Arum's Afterlife Adventure, which is $4 down from $20, so that's quite cheap.
Instead of Vayner 2?
It is. It's a Metroidvania. It's not the most visually advanced. The art style is a little simplistic and stylized, like hand-drawn, with fewer frames per second, unlike the attacks and stuff. But it's very well designed. You've got good traversal mechanics, an interesting story based in like Eastern religions. Arum is a young girl whose dad dies. Like everybody in her town dies suddenly under mysterious circumstances, and she follows her father into the afterlife to bring him back. And she gets a sword right away, so you're hacking ghosts and stuff.
Oh, I just assumed you liked the alliteration.
I mean,
Arum's Afterlife Adventure alliteration.
I do like that too. Yeah,
it is a AAA game. Yeah.
Oh, nice. Very nice. Oh, so Mario, are there any games that aren't Metroidvanias?
Yeah. We've also got Rogue Legacy, which is a platformer, kind of like a roguelite. In fact, I think this developer coined the term roguelite because it intentionally is not using many of those features. But you're replaying a smallish platforming game and improving your character each time with random effects for each playthrough. I think it may have. I'm not sure what the retail price was originally, but now it's $1.49. So, I mean, even if that kind of game is not your thing, I mean, it's so cheap. You may as well play it. And if you don't, you could try Shame. Shame Legacy is also on sale, and I don't know anything about that game except that fits the joke. No, I did look at it, and it's apparently a survival horror game along the lines of Outlast or Blair Witch. You're in some kind of a cult temple, and you found a staff that emits light. Some kind of monsters going after you, and you have to run away from it. I don't know. It's been played by like 40 people on TA, and its only rating is 1 star. So I don't know that I'd recommend it unless you're feeling bold. If you like that kind of game, you could just buy Outlast plus the DLC on sale for like $250. That's probably a better game. You should probably just buy that.
Wow. All right. Those are some interesting games, but are there any games that people might actually be interested in? Like our community?
I mean, I guess if you just want to buy easy games for fast gamer score, there is a bundle of a bunch of baby games on sale. It's the Grin Robot Games bundle. It's got 6 very quick games: Synchro Hedgehogs 1 and 2, Butterfly 1 and 2, and Smart Moves 1 and 2. That's 6 games with 21,000 gamer score, and it's on sale for only $11. So that's 1,900 gamer score per dollar, if that's all you care about for like contests or whatever.
Oh wow, that's all you care about. Yeah.
I'm just gonna play more expensive games that nobody likes.
All right, that's fine. There's a good place to find games like that on Game Pass. And as usual, Wild West is gonna give us all the news about the newest Game Pass comings and goings.
All right, we have Game of the Year possibility, Bluey, the video game, cloud console and PC. 2 to 3 hour completion there with the walkthrough. It's a venture game.
Oh, thank God.
Just a walkthrough just made for L. Just to
has
get it.
It has a lot of use, a lot of unnecessary use in that walkthrough.
Australia.
Coming back to Game Pass, we have Maneater on cloud console and PC. 14 to 17 hour completion there. Action adventure, open world. Does have some DLC that goes on sale occasionally. But I really enjoyed Maneater, so I definitely recommend that. Madden NFL 24 on the cloud, sports, American football. We've got Indivisible on cloud console and PC. 15 to 20 hour completion there. Platformer, Metroidvania, turn-based. Xbox has 3 DLC unattainables. PC has no DLC or unattainables. So if you want that completion, maybe play it on PC. And that one, isn't the developer right? You said it's not around anymore.
Yeah, they're gone. So it's not going to be fixed.
Not coming back. All right. You have Space Engineers, cloud console and PC. Management game, 150 to 200 hours. And then a surprise edition that I will be talking about next week, and that is Dead Island 2. It's a role-playing, open-world action horror, 25 to 30-hour base game, and it just came out with a new DLC too. That is a 2 to 3 hour completion, and it has at least one more DLC on its way later this year. So be forewarned if you want to play that. There, you get the typical DLC discount as well if you want to play it, but it does have some DLC. Do we want to talk about March, or do we want to wait till next week on the live show?
I think we can talk about it. We put off last week, so let's do it.
All right. So March 5th, the long-awaited Warhammer 40,000 bolt gun, cloud console and PC, first-person shooter, 10 to 12 hour completion. March 18th, a game I'm looking forward to is Lightyear Frontier, simulation open world management game. Kind of looks like a Farm Together, but in space. So I know L's going to be all over that. March 19th, we have MLB The Show 24. Sports baseball game. I'm looking forward to that as well. And we also have Open Roads. It's an adventure game from Annapurna. So I'm sure Koosh will be all over that one. March 28th, probably the biggest get so far on Game Pass this year. We've got Diablo 4, 200, 300 action RPG, role-playing, hack and slash dungeon crawler. I'm sure a lot of people will be checking that one out. And
the people who bought it will be mad.
I mean, if you're going to buy that game, especially with the rumors happening around that time, you would have played it, and you're a big fan of the series and everything. So,
yeah.
And then leaving Game Pass, just one news. We've got February 29th. So the day that this drops, it'll probably be gone, but it's Soul Hackers 2, 60 to 80 hours, role-playing, turn-based game. So I'm sure next week on the live show, we will have some more news on all of this stuff. If not, we might not see Koosh.
We're still anticipating a bloodbath in March.
There's a bloodbath coming sometime. I don't know if it's March, but it's coming.
Yeah. I'm sure MLB will be one sometime in March.
No.
That one, slacking. Yeah, that one can die. That's fine.
Wow. Harsh. Very harsh. Harsh words. Okay. Brings us to braggadocious brag camp. Our guest Mario will read the first grouping.
Sure thing. We have some people who have gotten completion milestones.
Oh.
Lord Zell has now completed 250 games. Logic Slayer has completed 450 games. Scarovese has completed 600 games. Shadow has completed 650 games. Chewy on Ice has completed 1,200 games. And Snuffed by a Girl has completed 1,800 games.
In streaks, What the Fug currently has 100 days. Dunkos has 350 days. Domain is at 700 days, and Neo 21 is at 950 days. Celebrating their 11-year achievement win streak is Mad Eye Pad Eye. That's insane.
Yes.
No. Do you remember what the insane part is?
Oh, the super insane part, yeah, is every day is a different game.
Yes, that's the real insane part. He starts a new game every day.
It's crazy. Like, you wouldn't think when you're growing up that you would have that many games to play to start a new game every day.
And
That's
when
crazy.
asked
Well,
in the
it helps
Discord
when you
about
have
it,
helps when you have a group of people telling you what games are on sale every week.
Yeah.
oh yeah, yeah. When asked
In
about it in the
gamer
Discord,
score,
he said,
Nope.
it's only money. That's what he said. Good on you, Mad Eye.
All right, in gamer score, we've got Punk Statics V1 at 200,000 gamer score, Unlock Wizard at 250,000 gamer score, Crunchy Goblin 68 at 300,000 gamer score, Dude with the Face 1.1 million gamer score, Mike Pitch with 1.4 million gamer score, Junior Mario 2004. Is he related to you at all, Skeptical?
I guess he's young enough to be my son, but no.
Junior Mario 2004 with 1.8 million gamer score, Triple Triad 777 with 1.8 million gamer score, and hitting their 2 million gamer score milestone, Mighty Mango. Congratulations.
You're a Mighty Mango Junior. Did you know that? Because you both say Metrovania. It's Metroidvania. Come on, get with the program here. This is Mario Week with Vayners. Although I would like to see a Metroidvania. That'd be cool. In leaderboards, Winter Muted, new name, is in the top 10,000 of the TA leaderboard for Puzzle. Scatavase is in the top 100 of the Achievements 1 leaderboard for Roguelite. Rodanis is now in the top 200 of the USA TA Difference leaderboard for Xbox Game Pass. Luke 17,000 is third in TA Difference leaderboard for Windows Roguelite. And Kingsman 2625 is now in the top 5 of the Gamerscore leaderboard for Sandbox. I got tagged today in Brag Camp by Philip Wendell, who said, last night I completed Party Hard 2. Final achievement for completing all the objectives is glitched. Was on a third playthrough trying to get it when it finally popped last night. Game was released in 2020, and I'm the 28th to complete it. Only took me like 150 hours. Wow. All right. Well, good job, Philip Wendell, on completing Party Hard 2. Okay. Thank you for joining us in level 292. Next week will be the live show. That'll be the first Tuesday of the month. Tuesday, March 5th. Yeah, 5th.
First, second, third, fourth, fifth.
6th, 5th. Yeah, one of those. Probably less than 10. So thank you for joining us, Skeptical Mario. You're welcome, Mel. Oh,
It
cool.
sounded like you were going to say something else.
I
No,
was
thank
gonna
you for having
say,
me.
I was going to say you're welcome anytime, and you're also welcome to invite yourself on anytime.
I might
We like
be going mad
having.
with power. I can go anywhere. I can be on any
You
podcast
can
I
do
want.
whatever you'd like. You could be on any segment you want. Um, you and Elroy can have a segment.
4 hour segment.
You and Freem can talk about roguelike platformers together. That would be fantastic. And you and Wild West could talk about how many daughters he has.
Let me know if you want another song. Should probably pick the
No,
topic.
no more songs. No more songs until Christmas. All right. All right. Maybe Thanksgiving. All right. Maybe Easter. Come. That's too soon. But anytime we should collaborate. Collaborate. That would be good. We should do that.
Mhm.
All right. We are on the road to level 300. If the gang hasn't killed me by then, we will be there in approximately 8 weeks. So thanks for listening. Class is dismissed. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
See ya.
Hello and welcome back to Neverending Stories, a segment where I talk to patrons and staff members about their long, unfinished campaign and story modes that they finally got back to after all these years because I told them to. Joining me this time, in I believe her second appearance on the podcast after talking with me, is it 2 years ago now, about bean diving, is someone close to me. Physically, geographically, it is Northern Lass.
Hello, everybody.
Oh wow, great to have you back. Am I right in saying that this is your second appearance? And
Yeah,
the last time was also with me.
Yeah, we did a segment on bean diving. I think it was 2 years ago.
Yeah, it's crazy now. Yeah, time flies, and you have since then. Your bean diving compulsion has not been taken away from you. It is still going strong.
Yes, I've got a problem.
You are one of the consistently highest bean divers in not just the AH101 community, but across the whole of TA.
Yeah, that's what happens when you keep buying games and then don't start anything until bean dive season. So,
I mean, you're among friends, so it's only a problem if anyone judges you for it, and we don't judge you.
good to know.
Not too bad. Anyway, that's not what we're here to talk about. We're here to talk about, unless you dived it, this game. Maybe you did. We'll find out. We're here to talk about a game that you started a long, long time ago. 15 years ago, I think, if I'm right with my maths. What game are we talking about?
The Legend of Spyro: Dawn of the Dragon.
Ah, yes. So, Spyro, a classic character back in the day. I remember how popular the Spyro games were on PlayStation, PS1 and 2, I think mainly.
Yeah.
And then I think basically this game, Dawn of the Dragon, was its one and only appearance on Xbox consoles, or 360 at least, before it disappeared for 10 years before re-emerging with the Spyro Reignited trilogy. And you started it back in December 2008.
Yep.
Which was only about a month after it was released. So, Northern Lass, were you a Spyro fan? And is that why you started this?
Yes, I am a big Spyro fan, so I've played the majority of the games on PlayStation 1 and PlayStation 2, I think.
Is this like the 8th one or something like that? I looked on Wikipedia, and there's like mobile games as well, but of like the main series.
Yeah, I haven't played any of the mobile games, but I think there was 3 or 4 games on PlayStation or something like that, and then there was all the toy games. So there was 3 Spyro Skylanders games.
Yeah, those 2.
Got a box full of dragons and various other characters from that. So yeah, I'm a big Spyro fan. I've got soft toys, I've got game cases, I've got ugly Christmas jumpers with Spyro. That's how much I love Spyro.
Although not enough to finish the storyline of this game for 15 years.
It released in November 2008, and I would imagine that I bought it on release. Because I started it in December 2008. Don't know why I didn't start it on the day it was released, but when I got it. But obviously, it was waiting to start it. And then I played it and got 2 achievements in it. One which was completing the first level, and one was doing some kind of combo kills. And it looks like I put it back down to pick back up Lego Batman from looking at my achievements.
Oh, I see.
I obviously didn't get pulled into the game at that time.
No. And then it sat for 12 years.
12 years. 12 so I picked it up. Yeah, 12 years later. And I can only assume, looking at my notes, because I keep a record of everything I do every month. I kind of do my RTLD and DL and BCM and everything, and I've got notes, and it popped up on my random to-do list in September 2020. Did this game, and I'm assuming that's why I picked it back up for a very short period.
Yeah, you did another 9 achievements in September 2020.
Yeah, which was 2 levels, 2 level achievements, and then various cumulative achievements for upgrading, killing enemies, and combos.
But it wasn't enough.
It wasn't enough, and I don't think I actually got to the achievement on the RTDL. So it must have been quite a late one. And then it went back into limbo until last month, September 23. And partly because it was on my never-ending story list, and partly because of the King of the Red Ring competition.
Yes. Now, who was your opponent in said competition during this week of Spyro?
In that week of September, it was your good self, Chewie, who I was up against.
How did I do?
Not as well as me.
No, I did absolutely terribly against you. I did actually, because this was the second period of that contest, and I did enough to get obviously through the first period, but then unfortunately I was rather unwell, so I'm putting it down to man flu, that I did basically nothing against you. But to be honest, I think you were also one of the favourites. So, it would have been a struggle, even if I had given you any kind of fight.
Yeah, and this game was a good one because it's a non-backwards compatible game. So it was a good one to go back to, really, for that competition. You get in the bonus.
Yeah, so we were giving an extra little bump on score for people who went back far enough into games that never were made backwards compatible.
Yeah.
As a way of encouraging people to tear through the backlogs, as you have done in this game. And you finished the story on the 16th of September of this year.
So, thank you, in September. So I finished the remaining 7 levels, and there's a bunch of stuff that I've still got to do in it. I've by nowhere near completed all the collectibles and all the upgrades, and there's various other achievements outstanding for killing so many enemies, etc., which I may or may not go back to. I haven't decided yet.
Yeah, basically you just got a whole load of cumulative and collectible stuff.
Yeah.
Just loads of it. It looks like it's chock full of that. Throw 200 enemies in the air, kill 1,000 enemies, collect all the armor sets, find all the elite enemies, find all the upgrades. It's just loads and loads of that. And is it like chapter select or level select where you have to keep going back and grinding those out?
There is a level select. It did say on tier that you couldn't actually do Lego select in one of the guides, but then it did say quite a few people have said they've managed to do it via level select. So once I did finish the story, I have gone back a couple of levels and kind of mopped up some of the missing collectibles, and I'm not missing that many. I'm probably like 90%. Through everything collectible wise, but I just unfortunately didn't enjoy the game, which is shocking.
Well, I did look when I looked on Wikipedia about it, and it got a very muted response, and probably was one of the big reasons for the series basically dying. Apart from the Skylanders games kind of giving a little bit of interest. But there was no Spyro games until the new ones, the remakes.
The remake one, which I still haven't finished that either. I need to get back onto that at some point.
The critical reception was meh, and I guess the sales were as well.
Yeah,
which is a shame. Yeah, I mean, tell me a bit more about that. Is it like do they like have a really strong storyline? Because I have to confess, I've never actually played one. I used to be big on PlayStation, but I never played a Spyro game. Played very few 3D platformer type games, of the big ones, especially in those days. So I know very little about it, apart from those early ones that were very well loved. But is it like a storyline that progresses all the way through?
Yeah, you tend to be going round and going into different areas and releasing dragons. From what I remember on the early games anyway, but releasing a dragon or 2 or 3 dragons in each area. Well, obviously the remaster is that's very much so. So it typically is you go through a series of areas, and then there's collectibles. You have to find all the gems, etc. Which is this one was slightly different. Is there was upgrades in each area that were hidden that you had to find, and also upgrades to your armor, and also upgrades to your health and your kind of magic ability. Overall, I found the game quite confusing at times. It wasn't always obvious what you needed to do, and then there was also the interplay between the 2 dragons as well. So you were playing one of 2 dragons, but the other dragon was always alongside you, and you would swap and use the other dragon's ability. They had slightly different special powers. So some were better powers for particular enemies than others.
That's interesting.
Yeah, it was quite confusing. I just didn't like that mechanic of swapping the dragons, and you needed to collect energy crystals to kind of breathe fire and use your kind of your special weapons and things. And I think that put me off a little bit, because sometimes you ran out and you couldn't really attack very easily. Do
you think they were trying to like do too much and like move away from what made it work before the simplicity of it?
And then also they put in a 2-player achievement, which is what I'm always mentioning in Discord, that I'll never get that because I don't have anybody who will sit through playing the whole game. You've got to play the whole game, or 95% of the game in 2-player.
Oh, okay. So you need someone who is willing to
sit there and play the full game with me, yeah.
Which for a 15-year-old game that isn't all that great is quite a big ask these days.
Yeah. I think you can do it with 2 controllers by yourself, but given that I kind of struggled to get through it myself, and lost a bit of interest, then I think it's a bit of a big ask to play it again a second time. So I definitely will not be getting the completion, but I might do some of the mop-up if I feel like going back to do some of the collectible stuff.
Is it the kind of thing where if you left it as kind of on your for contests, RTDL might pick one of those ones out and you would go for it, or do you think you would take it off?
I'm actually going to go and look if I've took it off, because I can't remember if I've actually put it not for contests now. I may have put it not for contests.
I guess the risk is with things like BCM is that it might also say now you've got to complete it, so you've got to.
It'll be the 2-player one that will come up, won't it? Yeah. Yes, it's not for contests, so it's off. Okay. It's off the list now.
So in some ways you're considering it done until you really, really, really feel like going back around to it, which, let's be honest,
it's probably going to be never. Yeah.
But story complete. Good job. I mean, 68% completion. 595 gamer score is decent. I think it's a decent thing to say. I've done it. Is put it to bed. And you're not alone on that 2-player one, because only 12% of players have got it, which for 360 is it's quite low relatively for a 360 game. So you are not alone in avoiding that one, I think.
Yeah, there's not many people on my friend list. I think there's 5 completions out of the 16 people that come up on the top of the list. So a lot of people have started it and not got that final achievement, or even got halfway by the looks of it.
And it's kind of a shame that it didn't do so well and it wasn't as well made or received, because some aspects of it look really interesting. I mean, they've got an amazing voice cast. They've got Elijah Wood, Gary Oldman, Christina Ricci, and Mark Hamill all playing, main characters in the game. That's a Hollywood A-list, voice cast. Yeah. Oh well. It is what it is. Spyro died with this game until he was reborn. And you have actually played the Reignited trilogy as well, haven't you? Did that kind of reignite your love of the series as well? Because I know that was very well received.
Yeah, and it looks beautiful, and it plays beautiful. I think there's 3 games, and it's a collection of three of the games. I think I've made headway into at least one of them. So I think I keep popping in and out. I think I derped it. I think it was one of the games I was playing every month for derp. That was a year ago or whatever. So I think I did play it, but it's just not. I'm not, for some reason I'm not drawn back to it. But I've that many games to play. I'm a sucker for contests, and if it doesn't fit to a contest, then it stays on the shelf.
Yeah, I mean, so if anyone is very nostalgic for Spyro or kind of interested to see what all the fuss is about, the recommendation is clearly to go for the Reignited trilogy. And if you love that or you're curious, probably don't go back to try out Dawn of the Dragon.
Yeah, I definitely go for the remaster. Yeah, go for the remaster if you want to relive a bit of your Spyro memories. Definitely, I'd recommend that one over the 360 one.
Awesome. Anyway, Northern Lass, thank you very much for joining me. Thanks for chatting to me about your Spyro story completion, and hopefully we can chat again soon.
Okay, thanks for having me. It's been great. Thanks.
Yeah, I didn't hear you clap, but
I did it. It came up on the
you saw the things. Thing, yeah, that's the other thing. Can you see wibbly wobbly lines?
Yeah, I can see it wibbly wobbly, timey-wimey stuff.
Okay, I'm going to try and cut that out and stick that into the podcast.